The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
The experts are clear. Sunlight, purified water, healthy non-GMO food, and having a good attitude is essential to a healthy immune system. But I go further with Super Nascent Iodine X2 from InfoWarsLife.com. 50% stronger than our original and revolutionary Nascent Iodine formula, coming from a deep earth crystal source that no other supplier has. Most other forms of iodine come from seaweed in areas plagued by Fukushima and other contaminants. Not our iodine. It comes from over 200 million-year-old crystal salt deposits and is tested and proven to be completely pure. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today. See the informational videos. Read the information they're compiled. And for a limited time, when you use promo code NOW at checkout, you get an additional 5% off the entire family of InfoWarsLife.com products. Secure your Survival Shield X2 today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
Using unparalleled research in the development of a synergistic formulation based around the key concepts of super oxygenation, the next level in cleansing is here. With key ingredients backed by real clinical studies, the new Oxy Powder, available through InfoWars Life, was invented during Dr. Group's research on the toxification of our bodies. Many herbal colon cleansers are harsh on the body and contain cheap and potentially dangerous ingredients, oftentimes full of synthetic fillers, GMOs, additives, or worse. Gently start cleaning your body with easy capsules that start working while you sleep. Oxy Powder does not require time off work, and there's no need for bad tasting concoctions. Instead, Oxy Powder slowly releases monoatomic oxygen into the intestinal tract and body. Experience the astonishing cleansing power of superoxide and ozonide technology. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to get started with Oxy Powder, or call 1-888-253-3139.
In the near future.
When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. InfoWars building independent media operations.
Let the worst people get control and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called InfoWars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's begun. You can feel it.
Waging war on corruption. It's Alex Jones coming to you live from the front lines of the InfoWar.
Yeah, there's a storm on the loose. Sirens in my head. Wrapped up in silence, all circuits are dead. Cannot decode. My whole life spins into a frenzy. Hell, my feminine to the twilight zone. This is the madhouse. Feels like
We are launch. We are go. The emergency organic human beacon that is the InfoWar. It's made up of myself, our crew, and every man, woman, and child across this globe that wants to understand the scientific, technocratic takeover that has been designed, publicly announced, and is being launched against humanity currently. Here's how my brain works. I get up at about 6:30 this morning. I go down to the government computer interface. That's what the internet is. I interface with Infowars.com on that DARPA system. And I am aware of the surveillance grid the entire time I am. And I then notice the headline on Infowars.com and DrudgeReport.com, Islamic gunmen storm Kenyan college, 15 killed, Christians targeted. And I read the article with the latest updates, and then I immediately remember, boom. when they attacked the mall a couple years ago, killing a huge amount of people, much larger than this attack, asking if they were Christians and then killing them, the media first tried to just say they weren't just targeting Christians. That's the political correctness. And Obama, of course, came out and said there is not such a thing as radical Islam. We will not even call it terrorism. And he said it again recently. And then I remember the Interpol chief coming out with a moment of sanity, a tiny light in a vast ocean of dark fraud, and the headline, Interpol chief, and of course we have it from Infowars.com. You can pull it up in Reuters. That's where it was. Let's pull up the original article if we can. Armed citizens globally to prevent terror attacks. Interpol Secretary General Ronald Noble said something noble. Told ABC News that one of the only ways to prevent terrorists from hitting soft targets was to arm citizens globally, noting that the Westgate Mall siege would have averted and would have been over far quicker if it had taken place in gun-friendly areas like Denver or Texas. Showing he doesn't really get his social topography down correctly. Denver's not as free as it used to be, but let's just say Vermont or Texas or Arizona. And that's why these Islamists don't hit those targets. Because I'll assure you, you hit a mall in Texas, you're going to have probably, if it's a full mall, 100 good old boys who aren't going to wait around the corner under their training like the police. And I'm not knocking that training, but they train a lot of the cops to wait for backup. Some departments say charge in. A lot of cops do charge in. But in Texas, when you had the tower shooting, citizens just pulled up, got their deer rifles out, started shooting to pin him down, or he would have probably killed double, the police estimated. And then a citizen found an Austin cop, who I've had on the show. He's now a Texas Ranger, retired. And the citizen's dead. I forget his name. My grandpa knew him and said, "Let's go." Grabbed his shotgun out of his truck, grabbed the cop and said, "Let's go." And they stormed up the tower and took him out. And I'm nothing special, but I guarantee you, if somebody was, say, mass shooting across the street, it wouldn't even, the default is I'd grab an M4, run out the door, and open fire on them. I mean, just guaranteed instantly, that's my default. That is now a bizarre instinct. I've had the BBC and others here, when they see under my desk an AK-47, you know, semi-auto, or they see an M4, or they see a .357 Magnum, and they go, "Oh, what is that? I mean, I'm not exaggerating. It's worse than that. Stop the taping. Excuse me." They've been brainwashed, so conditioned with psychological triggers that the sign of a slave with a gun scares them to the point of almost collapsing. And it's the same thing you see over and over again. I told the story of my dad's college friend, who I've been on probably, let's not exaggerate, 15 camping and fishing trips and beach trips with in my life or more. I was in college. My dad had a gun safe in his closet. I didn't keep my really nice guns at my apartment because they could get stolen. I was getting some guns to go to the shooting range and then hunting later. And I was just walking out of their bedroom past the living room with a rifle and a handgun. The handgun was in a case, memory serves, and he just went, "Oh!" Back, oh, and had his hands back. "Oh, David. And my dad and my mom were like, what's wrong? They're in there drinking coffee. "A gun. And they said, "It's okay." He goes, "Just get it out. The aversion to seeing a fellow slave armed. But if he sees a cop armed, he feels fine. And I've experienced this, but see, here's the Interpol chief saying arm people all over the world like this, and it will stop the mass shootings. Of course it will. We're going to trust pilots with, how much does a 747 or a 7, how much does a 7.7 weigh? How many tons is it? Is it a 50-ton torpedo? 100-ton, 300-ton? Tell me how much a 777 weighs. You're going to trust them with this giant torpedo that flies 580 miles an hour. They can actually go over 600, closest speed of sound, but they don't do that because of the gas it uses. In fact, some of those big jets, I'm told, can actually break the sound barrier. The point is that you got a missile that goes 600 miles an hour. You can fly it into buildings. You can kill tens of thousands with it. But we're not going to trust the pilots with a gun. See, the world's not perfect. So they harden the doors so a guy on Prozac, a man on Prozac, can be depressed and want to show off to his girlfriend and fly it into the ground. Then the answer is have everything remote controlled. Oh, what happens when a crazy person in the government who controls that comm center flies all the planes into the ground? See, the more you try to restrict people, you only restrict good people so bad people can act. The cockpits now hardened allow this to happen. So you close one door, it opens another door. How many tons does a 777 weigh, guys? Not even loaded with fuel?
We didn't find it. We're still looking.
Just search the term. How much does a 777 weigh?
Yeah, that's what I did, but we're not having any luck with the results.
Okay. Well, I was on...
According to Boeing, the maximum takeoff weight is 660,000 pounds, I believe.
660,000 pounds?
That can't be. That's too many tons.
Well, we're going to find out. The point is planes are big. I'll look it up. You guys are great, but let me just see if I can find it.
Oh, there it is. It says 660,000 pounds.
So how many tons is that? 660,000 pounds.
330 tons.
330 tons. Yeah, I was on a American Airlines flight, and that's what they said. They talked about, when you're on our 777s, you're flying through the air. And I was on a 777. It was just an ad in a 300-ton aircraft. And I wanted to, I almost said 300-ton, but it sounded so big I didn't believe it. 300-ton plus missile that goes 600 miles per hour. And we're going to keep pilots from having guns. We're going to keep citizens from having guns so the bad guys can get the guns, so the bad guys can take action. What do they claim the top speed? It'll depend on the engines in a 777. But I know I was on one flying to England one time on a Continental out of Houston, and it was kilometers. But it said, when I woke up in the middle of the night, it said like 780 kilometers an hour. I guess that's 600 something. I don't know. What's his top speed?
Looks like 945.
I think that's
945 kilometers.
945 kilometers. And then if you reduce that down into miles, what is that? The point is, they're faster than 600 miles an hour. So you got a 600, see, I'm obsessing on factoids, sorry. 600 mile an hour, 300 plus ton weapon. And now they're saying, have them all remote control, can't trust humans. See, one human does something bad, now all of us have to lose our freedoms. Every pilot is now a criminal. Even though statistically, everyone knows that jet pilots have one of the highest levels of competency, one of the highest levels of low crime rate. But one does something bad, now we've got to change everything. All right, I'm perseverating. That's how my brain works. I see an article about the latest Kenya mass murder with a bunch of disarmed victim Christians with the military and the police cowering outside while they get shot at instead of storming in and taking those people out. I'll guarantee you, if this was 1960 Texas, those gunmen would have been dead in minutes. People would have poured out of their cars. They'd have kicked those doors down before the cops ever got there. And Texas has proven it. That's what Texas does. Now, I'm not saying Texas has done that now. Texas had its huevos chopped off, a long time ago and mailed into Obama. But at the same time, still, Texas has fallen. But it's like Helter Skelter song. I'm coming down fast, but I'm miles above you. I mean, you go to California, man, it's jellyfish world. I'm not saying everybody in California, but you know what I'm getting at. Now, let's shift gears into something even more important. Warren Buffett, artificial intelligence, we'll play this clip in a moment, will decide whether humans live or die. Infowars.com. Now, of course, when I read this article, what did I think about? Well, I thought about the fact that he's the co-owner of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that fences about $50 billion a year of profits through it, so it's tax-free. I thought about the fact that he's a sickening, evil person whose Wells Fargo and Wachovia banks have been caught laundering hundreds of billions of dollars in drug money, and he got in no trouble. I think about what an organized gangster crime lord he is, and how he's the biggest recipient of the last 3 banker bailouts. Just look it up. It's McClatchy newspaper, AP Reuters. Just the headline. Warren Buffett, biggest recipient of bailout. Himself. But he gets up on ABC News this week, almost every week. They have pieces going, we need to raise taxes on the rich. I don't pay taxes. That's wrong. I'm Warren Buffett. I want to give you my money. My secretary makes more than I. He doesn't tell you he helped write the laws to exempt the billionaires and people like him See, the regulators don't come after him when he doesn't pay taxes. He's allowed to take the tax breaks. You're making $200,000, $300,000 a year. You try to take tax breaks